What's up guys, it's me Jeremy, and today I'm doing another video log. Today I decided to do it before I shave the beard instead of after, just to mix things up a little bit, have some fun. Anyways, in this video I'll be talking about how to avoid raging and keep everyone on your team positive. Like, normally avoiding raging yourself is usually not that hard, but keeping everyone on your team positive is definitely a very big problem that a lot of people face. So I think it's a good idea that I address it. So we should first talk about why, of course, it's good to keep everyone positive and not raging. Obviously, it helps you win, and it keeps everyone's attitude much more positive and happy to the point where the game becomes much more fun. I think the game, in my opinion, is way more fun when nobody is raging, and I'm pretty sure almost every one of you will agree with me, and if you don't, then you're kind of crazy, and you might want to get that checked out. Anyways, so like I said, avoiding raging yourself is very easy. Simply, you just don't rage. I mean, there's not that much else to it. Don't rage, don't yell at your teammates. If they make a mistake, never ever say anything negative. Like, even if they go 0-5 top lane, just say, "Oh, good job, you got your tower," instead of, "Dude, stop feeding, come on." Like, even just something that's slightly negative could cause your teammates to rage back at you or AFK or start feeding intentionally. So when it comes to not raging yourself, you need to be very positive. And I like to compare it to how a lot of professionals trained animals, actually, in that where you want to extremely emphasize the positive actions and completely ignore the negative actions. Because if you if you emphasize or point out, there you go, point out the negative actions, then people will be extremely afraid of committing those negative actions again, and then they'll start playing bad because now they're extremely nervous and extremely anxious, or they're just a little bit ticked off at you because they're trying to rage back or defend themselves. But if you ignore the negatives entirely and only focus on their positive actions, like, they could go 0-5. If they get their tower, give them a compliment. Say, "Good job, dude, you got your tower. That helps us out." Or they got a kill, say, "Good job, man. Come on. We can carry you." That's a phrase I like to use a lot, it's "Don't worry about it, dude. We can carry you." I use that phrase a lot, and I think it has a very big effect on players in solo queue, because a lot of people don't expect much of their teammates in solo queue because of bad experiences. So I think the phrase, "Don't worry about it, dude. We can carry you," I think that's a very effective phrase in solo queue when it comes to calming other people down. And that leads me into my point of keeping everyone on your team positive, which is much harder than not raging yourself. And it's definitely what the main focus of this video pretty much is, because like I just said, not raging yourself is fairly easy. And obviously there's so many sources and videos and blog posts and just everything about why raging yourself is bad and all that good stuff, but no one ever really talks about keeping your teammates positive. And I think that's something that really needs to be addressed, because it's really hard and it's actually really important. And I've won quite a few number of ranked games simply because I have at least somewhat developed the skill of keeping your teammates positive. So one thing when it comes to keeping your teammates positive is that one quote I notice people say a lot is that, "Oh, I don't rage, but everyone else does on my team, and that's why I lose." Or, "I'm a good player, but everyone else on my team is terrible, so that's why we lose." But the thing is that most people don't realize is you are everyone else. You just are. That's just how it is. If you think that you're above the people that are with you, then you're just going to go down below them, because being cocky and extremely self-confident in a way that you don't believe in all of your teammates can really create situations where a lot of your teammates don't trust you and don't cooperate with you, and you really need to create a very friendly environment. So being cocky and stuff is really bad, and that just comes back to saying, like, the idea kind of comes from like a theme, but you are everyone else. You are part of the silver elo or the gold elo. There's nothing about the people around you that make them worse than you or make them better than you. Maybe they just had a bad game, or maybe they had a good game, or made a couple mistakes. But the thing is that players can improve their play in the middle of a game. Like, I've seen players go 0-5 in lane and then carry the team fights to victory just because everyone on the team stayed positive. So you have to understand that you are everyone else, not that, oh, I'm not a rager and I'm a good player, so I don't deserve to be in this elo because everyone else is worse than me. No, you are everyone else, and you have to believe that. Another thing in dealing with ragers is, it comes down to a quote from Mark Twain, actually. He says, "Never argue with stupid people because they will beat you down to their level and then defeat you with experience." That's probably not the quote word for word, but that's basically what it says. And I think that can really be applied to ragers in League of Legends, is you cannot stoop down to their level and argue back at them. Like, if they're raging at you, you can't really rage back. You just have to calm them down and say, "It's okay, dude, stay calm," or "We got this," or "Don't worry, bro, I'll carry you." And phrases like that. You just got to keep everyone calm and positive, and just think about Mark Twain and arguing with stupid people, because I think ragers can really be equated to stupid people because there's not a very big gap in between the two. So that quote, I think, definitely defines ragers, and to deal with ragers, you have to keep everyone positive and not stoop down to their level and rage back at them. And that brings me actually into my next concept, which is also dealing with ragers, of course, but something that I noticed about a lot of players is that people react to ragers the same way they would react to someone shit-talking them in real life. Like, if someone's smack-talking you in real life, you're probably going to do something about it. You're going to go up to them and either like punch them in the face or do something about it. You're not just going to let it happen. But the thing is that League of Legends is not real life. A lot of players are going to smack talk back or do something to get back or get revenge at the people that are raging at them. But like I said, this is not real life. This is League of Legends. You cannot fight back at the ragers. You have to either ignore them or bring them up by being positive and believing in them. And yes, that's very hard, but if you want to raise an elo or just win more games in general and have a much more fun experience overall, then having the mindset of being an anti-rager, I like to call it. I consider myself an anti-rager. I know that's kind of a little bit cocky, but I seriously try to do my best to keep everyone positive and always promote a really strong environment. To win a game, I believe that you have to believe in yourself, and your teammates have to believe in themselves too. If you have any players on your team that aren't believing in themselves, then it's going to be really hard to carry them. But even if someone's 0-5 or whatever score, and they're doing really bad, if they believe in themselves and you believe in them and they believe in you, and you're not like ridiculously far behind, like if you won your lane and then maybe you lost top lane or something, then it can be pretty easy to carry them actually. Like, you want to create an environment where people are willing to be carried, because a lot of people don't like being carried. And I'll probably say myself included. I don't like being carried. I want to be the guy that carries other people because I like to help other people out. But some situations, sometimes you might just make a mistake, you play bad and you lose your lane, and maybe you feel like quitting, surrendering or whatever. But if you want to promote a friendly environment for your entire team right from the beginning, from champion select, I always say, "What's up, guys? I play support. I'd love to trade picks with you if you want to," because I usually end up in the last pick role because I duo queue a lot. So, and since I own a decent amount of champions, then a lot of people will trade picks with me. They'll first pick me Taric, and then I'll pick them like Katarina, and then they get a good match at mid, and then they win mid lane and I win bot lane, and then it works out really well. And even if they don't win their lanes, then I still believe that we can carry them. And it's definitely a really good thing. I think a lot of people need to be very communicative in champion select from the very beginning. Communication is very good. If you communicate a lot from the start, people will start to adapt to what you're saying and actually like believe it. And then so once it gets to the point where you're a little bit behind and you're saying, "Come on, we got this, just step it up, believe in yourself, we can win," then people actually start to believe you. And of course, there is a situation where you lose every single lane and the score is like 20-2 or whatever. And I mean, those situations, it's really hard to win. And honestly, in those situations, it's probably best to just mute every single person on your team to just avoid being mad for the next game you play, because let's keep it real, you're probably not going to win that game. I mean, don't vote yes to the surrender vote, but you're probably not going to win. That's just how it is, because you go behind 20-2 because you're worse than the other team, not because they got lucky. So, but when the game is really close, it's like 15-20 maybe, and you have the 15, then promoting a very anti-raging environment and an environment where just everyone believes in themselves, I think is really important. And I want to highlight a couple of the points that I just made earlier. Is you have to always ignore people's negative actions and their mistakes. Just ignore them entirely. And you have to extremely promote their positive actions. Whenever someone gets a kill, good job. I mean, not every single time, because you don't want to be annoying, because that can also frustrate people. But if they were 0-1 and maybe they get 1 or 2 kills, then good job, bro. No problem. And then also another thing that can help stop ragers is defending people that are getting raged at. I think this is something that needs to be done a lot more in the game, and actually helps create a positive environment. Is defending people that are getting raged at will cause the rager to kind of step down a little and regain his cool, and it'll cause the person that is being raged, the person that is raging it'll cause them to cool down a little bit, and the person that is being raged at, it'll make them a little bit happier. Like, if you defend your friend when he's getting like insulted, yeah, it helps them out. It's a good thing to do. It keeps both of the parties cool, but you got to do it in a very sophisticated way, very calm and collected. You don't want to become a rager. When you're defending someone that's being raged at, you don't want to turn into a rager yourself by raging at the person that is initially raging. I know it's a complicated sentence. It was hard for me to say. But yeah, I think defending people that are being raged at is very important as well, and is something that needs to be promoted more, because I actually find that 90% of the time or so, it actually will cause people that are raging to just keep their cool and step down a little. Because sometimes you just get in the heat of the moment and you were like 1-0 in your lane and your top lane is 0-4, and you know it's going to be really hard for you to carry, and maybe you know that raging is bad, but your emotions get to the best of you and you just kind of make a mistake in raging at your teammate. But having someone defend the person that is being raged at will cause the person that is raging to slightly see it from a less biased point of view and be like, oh shoot, I was actually kind of raging. That's not good. So I think defending people that are being raged at is a very good thing to do and needs to be done more. So that's it for my video discussion, real talk, etc., whatever you want to call it, on how to avoid raging and keeping everyone on your team positive. I'd love it if you guys could support me with a like or some feedback in the comments. If you have any questions or would like to discuss this topic, I'd love to see you in the comments too. I was getting a little ahead of myself there. Anyways, if you like this video, I'd love to see you subscribe for more awesome content in the future. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.